Hi, this is Erling with Travel Trail Sail, bringing you this month's top state park news stories. Now, we're going to be sharing a lot of stories, and you might be interested in learning more. We're also putting up a post with links to all the stories, so if you need more information, you can find that on traveltrailsail.com. And with that, let's roll with this month's top state park news stories. Starting with Ohio, where this is the year of state parks. It's actually the 75th anniversary of the creation of the Ohio State Park System. And they're going to have a lot of interesting things going on this year, but one of the things is the 76th state park in Ohio will be opening. That is the Great Council State Park. It's a relatively small state park, about 15 acres. But it's going to have an interpretive center telling the story of the native peoples from that area, including the Shawnee. They'll also have a hiking trail going through some prairie terrain, so it sounds like a nice state park. Can't wait to check it out. But if that's the newest state park, what about the oldest state park? So the state parks were founded in 1949 with 16 original state parks, some of which actually existed before that. One of them is Buckeye Lake. It's Ohio's oldest state park, and it was actually created back in the 1820s. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the history of the Ohio state parks or some of the upcoming events, including that new one, check out the Ohio State Park website. North Carolina has announced that they had a record number of visitors in 2023. Over 20 million people visited a North Carolina state park. That's about 4% more than in 2022. Pretty amazing. Now, the most visited area was Jordan Lake. But some of the areas that they have, some of the state parks actually doubled in terms of their attendance. And two that had the biggest growth include Mayo River and Morrow Mountain state parks. Now, you might have seen from our reporting on past state park news, North Carolina continues to invest in their state parks. They're making a lot of improvements. We've actually seen them doing some of the construction in the parks. It is much appreciated. If you're wondering what a North Carolina state park looks like, we recently visited Raven Rock State Park. It was amazing. It's this rock formation along a river, and there's hiking trails. It's just fabulous, and a super nice campground there too. So you can check out our post and video on Raven Rock State Park if you want to see a little bit about what a North Carolina park looks like. So congratulations to North Carolina for continuing to make improvements and attract visitors to your parks. Fantastic news. The Colorado State Park System has announced the reopening of the main road at Cherry Creek State Park. This opened on Friday, January 26th. Now, the road had been out for almost a year. Last spring, they had heavy rains, which led to flooding, and the road got washed out. They didn't want that to happen again, so they did some planning, and now there are better drainage systems in place. They started construction on the new road in November, and it is now open. So you can drive from one part of Cherry Creek State Park all the way across to the other now. And Cherry Creek State Park is located in Aurora, Colorado, which is just to the south and east of Denver. Be fun to check out Cherry Creek State Park. If you're into the outdoors and love fitness, our next story might be just for you. Virginia State Parks has announced that they are resuming again for the 7th year their Adventure Series. This is a series of races held all across the state of Virginia at state parks, including things like a 15K race, an ultra marathon, a triathlon, just super ambitious outdoor racing. Sounds like a lot of fun. The first race is actually going to be a Monster Cross 50-mile cyclocross, which is at Pocahontas State Park. Pocahontas has, I think, about 100 miles of bike trails. It's a fantastic state park. We do have a video and post on Pocahontas too, so if you want to learn a little bit more about Pocahontas and plan your visit, you can check that out. The racing series will end with the Fall Foliage Adventure Race, which is at Mason Neck State Park. Now, there's two different ways to be a part of this competition. One is a competitive category where you're actually trying to win the race. But there's another category, which is an achievement category, where you can see how many of these races you can actually complete. Either one sounds really challenging. If you want to learn more, check out the Adventure series on the Virginia State Park website. And if you're joining in, good luck. Every month, we try and bring at least one fun activity in a state park happening somewhere across the country. And this month, for February, we have two of them. The first is a cold weather shelter class that's happening in the Georgia State Parks at Red Top Mountain State Park, about 45 miles north of Atlanta. You can learn how to better survive the cold by building a winter shelter. It's about $5 for admission and $5 for parking. Sounds like a fun event and maybe a useful skill to learn. Red Top Mountain State Park. But if snow adventure is really more your thing, you may want to head up to Maine to Bradbury Mountain State Park, where they're having a winter fun day on February 10th from 10 to 3. They're going to have free snowshoe rentals, so you can go and try out snowshoeing. You could bring your own sled and go sledding on their snow hill, which would be a lot of fun. And after your day of outdoor adventures, you can have some hot cocoa by the fire, which just sounds really fun. The adventure continues at 6 o'clock that night, where they'll have a stargazing party. So it sounds like a really fun day at Bradbury Mountain State Park, which is up in Maine, located about halfway between Portland and Augusta, Maine. So check it out. We really do enjoy bringing you these state park news stories every month, and I hope you're finding them useful, interesting, helpful in some way. We'd love to hear if you have a favorite state park or an event that's happening near you. Please leave us a comment to share. And if you are enjoying this series, what would really help us is if you subscribed. So appreciate that. That way you won't miss the next time we do state park news. Love having you along on our journeys. Can't wait to see you again soon. So that's it for State Park News for February 2024. And we look forward to seeing you again real soon. Bye.